for me. Let's go. Driving videos. This is my, obviously my microphone wire. About the movie The Matrix. This is the, I would say, probably the most and the really best movie I know. The next is Kung Fu Panda. All series. Of course, Avatar, but Avatar is like a story type of movie, like Titanic. But like a movie where you learn something, this is definitely Kung Fu Panda and The Matrix. But about The Matrix, let's keep the story short, long story short, or a short story even shorter, is I really love this movie because it correlates to myself. I'm also a programmer and I'm also searching for the answers alone. So this was really interesting. But I saw this movie when I was about 12 years, 10 years old, young. And then it was like, I saw this episode where the girl picked up the phone in the beginning and then the truck crashed her. And that's all I remember about the movie. Completely, I don't know. And then I saw it maybe when I was 16 or 15 years old. Older or young. And then I saw it and I was like, huh. Very, very interesting movie. I have to watch it another time. And then another time. And then when I was 18, another time. And then I was 19, another time. And another time, and another time. I was like, wow, so much information. Well, now let's start explaining things now. Well, then the explanation was different, and then it was different, and then it was different. And all the times it was completely different. But let's start by driving out of this intersection. The idea which I received that Matrix movie is created from channelers that do channeling, and a group of channeling, and the entity who came through, he was specially aligning himself to create this movie, to help to create this movie, and the thing is that the Neo is all the viewers who are watching this movie, and he is that you are looking for answers. What is life? You know, like Buddhism, like everything in higher religions. What is life? And then he follows the how do you call it? The signs, like follow the white rabbit, knock knock. Somebody, like the phone. The phone calls are as intuitions, as voices in the head. This is the phone calls idea. And so many phone calls. What is going on? I don't understand. And hear the voices or hear the messages from the high guides. And obviously Neo is not the person that goes to clubs and so on. This movie is really dense with information. You just have to look at. Obviously, he doesn't go to the clubs because he finds he's eager to know what is life. You know, club is not life. Club is like, or the amusements, they are in a way boring. They don't answer the answers. They are within the whole idea what is life. They don't answer what is life. And he was looking for the answers. And then he received the inspirations, intuitions from his guides, which in the beginning were Morpheus. And he started to navigate and follow them. And he realized why he follows these, whatever these guides are, he gets himself out of the trouble or gets himself even more in the trouble. And the idea is that there are two opposites in this movie. One is the person who follows his intuitions, and the other is the society that lowers him. For example, when he was in a job, Mr. Anderson, you think you're special, you're somebody. Actually, you are nothing, you're nobody. Go back to your office. And he's like sitting again. And then again, this inspiration and this intuition comes, and he starts following them, and he realizes that he got out of the troubles, and he was like amazed by that. So the first situation that comes, when following his intuitions and everything, he stumbles across his darkest fears, which are being even more controlled, or being even more possessed with the agents, the society, whatever this is, the society, the police, because he was doing some bad things, with the computers, I guess bad things. And he stumbles across his fears, and he wakes up from the dream of fears, and he was like, oh, what was that, what was that, what was that? And then again, this intuition calls him, hey, come here. And he does this, and then he's picked up, and he's like already in contact with his guides already, and they start helping them. And the first thing that they do is they take out his fears in the stomach, because in the stomach stands all the fears. And this is a little bit representation to the reptilians when they take out the worm or what it was, but still, that's how the fears work. They lay into your stomach, in your solar, and then they stay there. And when all the time you feel fears, or somebody feels strong fears, they have pain in the stomach, fears like I will die someday or something like that. And then what happens? Then it's all the way about downloading information, the same with channeling. When you get the channeling, you download information, and the mind takes time to adjust, takes time to get used to it, takes time to... This is exactly what happened in my case. So this really correlates. Like, if you send too much information instantly, it can get unpleasant, unbalanced, for the mind, for the psyche, for everything. He was like doing it slow, but like I said, he's really a machine. I know Kung Fu, no problem. Kung Fu, what is Kung Fu? Kung Fu isn't fighting. Kung Fu is here, like, concentrate. You are more than you think you are, and because of this understanding, you are more. Now let's talk about what is Morpheus. I was asking the channel. Well, Morpheus is his higher self in the movie. Now this was really interesting. It was like, what, higher self? He said, yeah, well, explain. They said because actually he, as a character in the movie, you can take him out. He doesn't exist there. And all of them are talking about Morpheus, of the higher self. And Morpheus was always convinced, always self-empowered, always something more than everybody else. He was a higher self because, also, not because, but this was just an idea of him being a higher self, from my perspective and from the information that I got from channeling, is because he believes always, and because of his beliefs, everything happens how he believes. And this is the true nature of the higher self. The nature of higher self is always convinced, always believes, and always happens. He has no mind involving, oh, this is not possible. No, everything is possible. Just go for it. And another thing was happening. It was funny because the Neo started to vomit, and Morpheus said, just breathe. And this was when I got information about this part. This was so funny because this is what is really important, because when you get too much energy, you feel sick, really sick, and the idea is that you just breathe, and because the breathing, water and fresh air and activity is really important. So what happens later? He goes to the Oracle. What is Oracle? Oracle is a guide, also a guide, but a mental guide. And what the mental guide does is it gives you an idea and you believe it to be true. And you walk this path believing it's true. You're gonna die. And this is the Neo's strongest fear, is that he will die. Or something, die, or the Morpheus will get killed or something. And this was his strongest fears. And he was even fearing it more and more and more and more, until he died, and he realized there is nothing in there. There's just nothing in the death, and everything is just nothing. All of this, what is around the agents or whatever this is, just an mental thing. It's just an abstraction. It's just an mental resistance to the natural self. And when he realized this, Morpheus isn't anymore in the movie, because Neo is now his higher self. I mean, like they are as one now. Higher self. And this is the highest in any religion, like Christianity or Buddhism. This is the highest, to get the higher self down. And the idea there was. Well, yes, there is like the episodes when he goes after him, follows intuition. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he is convinced that he will do what he is doing because he now believes himself. And there are like episodes. You see, the Morpheus jumps out of the window and Neo grabs him. Connection to the higher self, believing himself, everything. And when he was left alone and everybody was ejected, he still got the empowerment, but he still died because of the scenario. And I really loved what Morpheus said. It's not about Oracle that says that this is how it is. It's about that what she says gives you the new path. And this new path will give you the realization, will give you the understanding that this is just a path for you to understand what you understood while going this path. And this path was that you start to believe yourself. Bad road. Slowly. Actually, this was it about the movie. Of course, there were episodes like you compare the people who are, for example, in the beginning, the policemen who are ordinary humans and they cannot run that fast, they cannot be that fast, and it's not possible, I cannot do it, and they are not empowered, they are not trusting themselves, they are mentally so lost, and the idea that humans are grown, this is the idea that the society that or the big companies that own humanity, would say, by large businesses, that this is their way of controlling them, mentally pushing information inside, pushing fears, pushing control, pushing everything. And okay, so I have to go out now, and there was more information, but it was like 3 days ago, and I don't quite remember it. But I hope this information helped. I hope this information was good. Not like good, but useful. Good. What is good? Alright, see you